All right. Hello and welcome. Let me check that mic. We're good. Testing. Forever traumatized by microphones. How y'all doing? Welcome to Critical Conversations. My name is Karissa Dean. I'm your host, as always. Thrilled to be here to have another conversation with you all today. Just going to turn my phone off onto that D&D so that if somebody calls me, it does not interrupt our epic conversation. Today, I want to talk about something that I think is really important. It's often overlooked in the healing space. And so what I want that conversation to be today for you is inspirational. So hopefully you are in a space where you can hang with me for the next 30 minutes or so. And I'm really going to offer some insight and challenge you. And I want you to be willing to be open and vulnerable here with me. And the topic we're going to get into is whole body health and wellness. And I think that we overlook a lot of things. And when I say that, I'm curious what comes up for you. I'm curious what goes through your mind. So before I dive too much further into this topic, I want to say thank you. I have been doing this podcast now. It will be a year in November. And in the last 9 months or so, I don't know who's listening. Maybe I do know you, maybe I don't, but I just wanted to say thank you. And it means the world to me for those of you who do email me, for those of you who have followed up to say, wow, these are great conversations. I love these interviews. For those of you who have sent in comments, thank you. Like, I'm doing this to be a free resource. I don't get paid. I do not make money off of this. It is simply something I feel I was called to do. And I have really been enjoying my time doing it. And I just am so thankful for those of you who are still with me. So I want to start off by saying that if you haven't already, when you do share, when you follow the show, when you send in emails, it really does help my overall goal, which is to have a wider reach. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for taking the time right now to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to share this with your bestie who you think it might support as well. Because ultimately, like, my goal is to support and share and speak truth and be honest and loving and show you that you're not alone. So I'm hoping this conversation, it's going to be a little like, maybe TMI for some of you who aren't as willing to be like as vulnerable and out there. So I'll just preface it with that. But that's why I'm here. I really feel like I've been, called upon to speak truth, to help people feel empowered through validating their personal experiences. So let's dive right in. We often ignore our physical well-being. And I'm going to start with the physical body. I think that there's like three main components to whole body wellness. You have your physical, your mental, and your emotional. And I do isolate out the mental and emotional because I think that there are like mental illnesses that are part of our physical makeup that aren't necessarily attached to our emotional body and our emotional well-being. I really do believe in emotional intelligence. I believe that there's a level of learning and understanding that we can evolve through. And so that's why I separate out the mental and emotional, because I think that there are some mental things that we are born with. There are mental, things that come up as we grow up hormonally, and traumas that can happen, like brain traumas and different things like that. So that is why I separate out the three bodies. So if you're looking at a pie chart, let's just say that each of these is Let's say, actually, I think the biggest component for feeling better, for living a whole healthy life, is your physical. I think you start with your physical. If your physical body is not up to par, you are going to struggle in the other mental and emotional components. I know that when I am not feeling well, I go immediately into like victim mode or lack mode, or, poor me. It's like the world is ending, right? And nothing's ever going to get better. That's where I go when I don't feel good, which is why I think that we start with the physical. And I would say the physical is made of 50% of how you feel in life is going to be based on how your physical body feels. And so let's talk about it. I have had multiple clients in the past month all come to me and talk to me about what is physically going on in their body. They're physically overwhelmed. They're like in a freeze mode. And it's because I'm going to speak to women here for a minute, women, people who identify as women who have, the feminine body parts with those feminine hormones. We have a lot more physical changes happening to us as we age and as we go from our teenage years to our, early adult, where we're potentially having children, to post children, to then going through the quote unquote the change, which is where we're going into menopause. Women have huge physical changes, and we don't ever slow down enough to pay attention or give credit to those transformations. And I'm calling them transformations because I really do think of women's bodies as these miracle things. Like, we create life if we want to, if we can. Like, that's a possibility for a lot of women. And I think that that is amazing. And it's transformative. What happens to your body is transformative. So I've had these clients, they're like, I'm paralyzed. Like, I literally am not motivated. I'm brain foggy. I'm having a lot more like physical pain. I'm super achy. Like, I notice that my body is changing. I can't lose weight. Like, so many physical complaints. And I have to start there with my clients, because if you're physically not feeling well, it will not matter what mindset work you do. You cannot convince yourself to feel good. You have to actually feel good. Then you get to change your mindset. Then you get to gain emotional intelligence. And that is where the true transformation starts. So I have a bone to pick here with the buzzwords and hot topics of just think positive, or just manifest it, or just like, yes, but, and also you have to fucking feel well. So I'm asking you right now, how do you feel? Like, one of my favorite tools to use with my clients is a body scan. Let's just like stop talking for a second. Let's just close our eyes and breathe. And starting at the top of your head, scan your body. What's showing up? Where are the aches? Where are the pains? What are the symptoms that you're ignoring? There's a ton of women with actual legitimate hormone issues, and they need support. They might need more estrogen. They might need more progesterone. They might need testosterone, for God's sake. They might just need some magnesium. They could just need some like more salt and minerals in their diet. Maybe they're not eating enough protein. Maybe they're not sleeping, so their body can never fully recover. They're not getting their deep REM sleep. If you physically don't feel well, you will see a gross impact in every other area of your life. Your business, your relationships, your mental and emotional well-being set aside, you will continue to feel worse and worse until catastrophe happens. And you can mask it through drinking. You can mask it through Band-Aid effects like Advil. Or you can get curious about it, find the underlying issue, the root, and cure yourself and get better and feel better and be happier. But we don't give ourselves that time or that permission. We don't even give ourselves the time to sit down and be like, how am I feeling today? Like, let me take 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Let's do it right now together. We're at the 10-minute mark of the recording here, almost 11. Okay, let's just sit. I'm going to wait until it hits 11. And 2 minutes. We're just going to be silent. And I just want you to scan your body. If you're driving, please don't close your eyes. If you can, though, let's just stop and close our eyes. And for 2 minutes, scan your body, starting right now. Just breathe. This is where we just breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. Soften your jaw. Remove the tongue from the roof of your mouth. And just start at the top of your head. How you feeling? Come down to the sinus area, behind the eyes, the nose, the throat, the mouth, the eyes themselves, ears. How you feeling? Back of the head, the neck, throat. What's going on? Breathe air into those spaces and give them time. The chest, ribs, front of the body. Dude, how do your boobs feel? Armpits, shoulders, back of the spine, all the way down to the tailbone. The ribs wrapping around. The internal organs of your body, how do they feel? Your gut, your liver, your intestines. How's your digestive system been lately? Are you hungry? Do you need water? Back to the shoulders, all the way down the arms. Right side, left side. Fingers, wrists. Down to the hips, the pelvic bone, your reproductive body parts. And legs all the way down to the feet, the bottom of the feet, and each of your metatarsals. You have 27 bones in your feet. How are you doing? That was 2 minutes. That's all it takes, you guys, to run down your whole body and be like, what's happening? If you actually did that practice with me right now, I want you to notice, was there anything physical that happened when you just took those 2 minutes to breathe more intentionally? Do you feel a little less anxious? Did your shoulders drop down a little bit? Do you feel like, there's some tension here? Like, I believe that the whole world improves and life gets better the moment that we start to pay attention to our personal well-being. And you have to slow down and give yourself the time and space to just breathe and to also scan your body and get more curious about, how's my digestive system been going? Man, I sure feel like shit after I eat bread. Maybe I should try not eating bread and see what happens. Like, man, every time I eat tomatoes, my throat gets really itchy. Maybe I should not eat tomatoes for a little bit. Like, what's happening in your body? Stop ignoring the small, subtle things, because those small, subtle things add up over time and they become the bigger issues that are really hard for us to shy away from. I really believe that we can feel better if we just take time to slow down and break some of this hustle culture. And I think I know there are many, many, many reasons why we as women don't take these 2 minutes to check in on our body. The first big excuse or reason, I mean, it's an excuse and it's also a reason, is we are hardwired. Our society has conditioned us as women to take care of everyone else around us. So from the moment you wake up to the moment you put your head on the pillow and can finally close your eyes, you are always thinking about somebody else, whether it's your partner, family, friends, children, animals, your house, your neighbor. Like, we will find reasons to not pay attention to ourselves and to make sure that we're taking care of everyone else around us. We are hardwired that way, and we have to break that habit. And here's why. If we can just give ourselves permission to feel better and take care of ourselves, we're actually going to have bigger and better impact in the world, because we're going to be healing the world from a healed self. And it's more sustainable for you to then go support other beings because you have healed and cared for your well-being first. So we have to slow down. We have to stop making the excuse, and we have to say, everyone else can wait. I got to check in. So that's one. Another reason is finances. If you're in America and whether you have health insurance or not, it's expensive. It is expensive to take care of ourselves. Going to acupuncture is something that I love so deeply, but we pay a lot out of pocket for me to go do that. And I try to go every week. That adds up. It's expensive to slow down and take care of yourself. Taking supplements, if you need supplements are expensive. Vitamins. What is not expensive, though, is to slow down enough to realize you have more time than you think to prep better food, if you can just slow down enough to be really intentional. And so that leads me to a third excuse, is time. We just don't think that we have enough time because we're so fucking worried about everything else outside of us. We're worried about how people are going to think about our outfits. We're worried about how people perceive how clean our house is. And we're worried about being on time. And we're worried about, we got to show up to this thing and do that thing. And there's another this. And then there's always something else to do. And so we run out of time to take care of ourselves. But I am begging you to try one small thing today, whether it's the 2 minutes of breathing, carving out space, saying no to something else, and being more intentional about the food and exercise you give yourself. Whether that is saying no to caring for somebody else so that you can care for yourself. I don't know what it looks like for you, because I think that your situation is so unique. But I guarantee you there is a pathway for you to start feeling better. You might need to go spend money at the doctor's and get your blood tested and check your hormones. You might need to do a Dutch hair sample or a poo sample, because you might really need to make some bigger radical changes. And I want to just tell you that you're worthy of taking the time, the energy, and the money to go do that, because you are you, and we need you on this earth, and we need you to be healthy and strong and feeling well, and you're worthy of that. And so whatever it means for you, I hope that you can just start to get more curious about, how could I take better care of my physical body? I think that that is a huge piece of the pie that we overlook. We mask it. We shrug it off and say, it's not that big of a deal. I'm always tired. No. No. I disagree. You get to feel better. You get to live better. and it starts with your physical well-being. So when clients come to me and we have these physical things, there are lots of things I can support them on. We can create new schedules, we can work on boundaries, we can work on values, we can create systems and routines. And we do this all individually based, because what works for some will not work for others. And that's why I love one-to-one coaching. So that's step number one for when people come to me and they're anxious and they're depressed and they're tired and they're overwhelmed. Like, that's the number one thing. They're overwhelmed. Well, how's your physical body? Like, what's going on? Okay, great. Let's start there. Let's see if we can just get you to drink more water. That's it. Let's start there. Let's see if we can get you to sit out in the sun for 5 minutes to get some vitamin D in your body. Let's see if you can get one fresh, healthy meal a week. Let's see if we can get you 8 hours of sleep one night a week. Like, there are very simple things that we can start. And when you start small and you create sustainable change in your life, you can see how it compacts and compounds. And then it's like easier to be more intentional and more, clear about what else can be added. Wow, I feel so good. I got like one night. I got a really good night's sleep. Okay, great. What did we do? How did you get that one really good night of sleep? Can we duplicate that? Can we do that again? One more night? Hell yeah, because I felt so good and I was so productive. Like, that's the point, is if your physical body feels better, you are more productive, you are more helpful, you can sustain longer, you can do more, you can be more for other people. So slow down and check in with yourself. That's the physical. The mental and the emotional is often the harder spot, because we're looking at conditioning, we're looking at ancestral trauma, and then we're looking at like what happened to you in this lifetime trauma. And it's really a yucky, vulnerable place to go. And it's hard for somebody to say, hey, your mindset is really whack right now. I have so many clients who come to me and they, were like going through stuff, whether they're new in my world or they've been around for a while. There is language that is so closely tied to your mindset, and you often can't hear it because you're in that cycle, you're in that loop. And so this is the power of coaching, is that you get someone there to audit what you're saying, which supports what you're thinking, which supports the way that you perceive the world, which supports your nervous system, which supports your emotional intelligence and the way that you react and respond to the world, which supports your mental well-being, which is where we are looking through, well, why are you anxious? Well, why are you depressed? Well, shit, man, you're saying and thinking and doing a lot of crazy things. Like, can we slow some of that shit down? And like, I get it. I've been there. Like, everything that I tell my clients to do is all because I've done it myself. I've been there. I've walked in your shoes. I've felt depressed. I've felt like, why fucking bother? I've felt the overwhelm where you just like freeze. I've wanted to dive into drinking more. I wanted to do drugs. I never actually did because I was too big of a pussy, but I have absolutely been like, well, maybe I should just like be a drug addict because that's easier. It seems easier, but I want to tell you it's not, because your life is so profound and you were so divinely and uniquely created to be here. And we need you. You are playing a role. And if you can tap into your magic, if you can find the power that's in you, and you can do that through healing and working on your mindset and getting more curious about how life can be better and how you can feel better and how relationships can be fucking epic and your work can be like something that you're so driven and passionate to do. Like, if you can just get curious about one or more of those areas, I swear to you, it gets better. But the problem is we are in a society that just says, don't look at it. Just keep going. Ignore the fact that your gut hurts every time you eat. Ignore the fact that you're sick all the time. Ignore the fact that you're overwhelmed and anxious. Just like ignore it. Keep going. Like it'll get better down the road. But like how? How does it get better if you don't look at it and go, whoa, this is nuts? I should probably like slow down and like see if this can get better. You have to start somewhere. And, you know, I don't think that you have to be at rock bottom. I know that when I started my personal development journey, for those of you who haven't heard this story, I was very suicidal. I was like, there's no point in living anymore. My physical body, I did not feel good anymore. I had been a dancer for so many years and had just like beaten the crap out of my body. I had had miscarriage. I had had birth to a child. You know, my core was shot to shit. I like just was ignoring all the aches and pains of my body. My gut was a mess. I was highly allergic. I was celiac to gluten, but like not paying attention to all the symptoms. I was absolutely miserable. And when I hired my coach and I started getting more curious about, oh my God, you're so reactive. Like, why are you so reactive? Well, because your fucking nervous system is like freaking out. So like what you're saying and doing and what you're thinking is all based on freak out. This is why in my coaching practice, we work on the whole body health. I want you to physically feel well. I want you to have tools to sustain it with your lifestyle intact. And I want your mental and emotional well-being to be like the absolute best. And I want you to have tools that you can take away so that you can sustain your mental and emotional well-being. Like this is it. This is how I believe everything gets better, is when we turn towards the things that aren't working in our life and we get curious about how they could change and get better, no matter how fearful and scary that might look, no matter how challenging it might feel. I want you to hear me when I say there is a path forward. And it doesn't have to be this radical, okay, now I'm a yogi, I'm vegan, and I don't drink booze. No, not sustainable. My practice is all about cultivating something that is unique for you that works for your life. The advice I would give somebody who just had a baby is going to be far different than somebody who is single, than somebody who is married with 2 teenage kids, than somebody who just lost their partner. Like, you are too unique to take these cookie cutter tips off of TikTok and Instagram. Don't fucking do it. It's not sustainable. You're going to get burnt out and then you're going to think, well, never works for me. Doesn't work for me. Bullshit. There is something that can work for you. Can you get curious for like 3 months and really give an effort, because you deserve to feel and live and be better. I'm a firm believer that when we know better, we can do better. And until we get curious about knowing better, we will always remain the same. How much more of your life can you live on a hamster wheel? How much more of your physical well-being can you ignore? If you're still listening and you're like, damn, I'm overwhelmed, I'm anxious, I'm fearful, I'm depressed, stop running from it. Like, let's get into that, because you deserve to feel better. You do not have to live that way. You should not just get on antidepressants. You might actually need antidepressants because there's a chemical imbalance. That's why I separate out the mental. And I have no issue with anyone who needs medication to sustain their mental well-being. But are you doing the other things, or are you just looking for the quick fix? I beg of you to stop looking for the Band-Aid fix and start looking for the root cause, because that's where the real transformation happens. That's where the yummy, juicy, delicious life comes from. Doesn't come from more money. Money helps. Money's a tool, but it's a tool that we utilize to help transform our lives. I tell you what, I'd have a lot more fancy shit if I didn't spend so much money on acupuncture every week. If I didn't really believe in whole, healthy meals and spend a lot of time and money to make that happen. It's all about choices. It's all about what you value. It's all about the life you want to live. And the life you want to live is available to you, but you have to start choosing to do things differently. Are you ready to get off the hamster wheel? Are you ready to see what small, bite-sized, sustainable changes you could make to just feel better? I've never had a client get off a call with me and be like, I feel worse. Every fucking time I get a text message, oh my God, I feel so much better. Oh my God, I feel so motivated. Oh my God, I see my path. Oh my God, thank you so much. Oh my God, I feel so validated. Oh my God, I can totally tackle this to-do list now. Oh my God, thank you for helping me rationalize this. I talked to my partner. You were right. He just wants to love me and make me, and he wants me to feel better. Oh my God, I asked my partner to help more out at the home, and guess what? He's doing the dishes. Like, I've literally never had a client not love a session with me. And it can be as simple as one 60-minute call. But for those who choose to continue to invest in themselves month after month, their lives are radically different. That is why I love this work. That is why I am just so passionate about helping people understand that it gets to get better, but it starts with you choosing yourself. That's why my tagline is choose you. Choose yourself. You're so worthy. You're so unique. You're so beautiful, and you deserve a path that feels sustainable. It's not going to be sustainable for you to just sit down and meditate every day for 15 minutes if you've never meditated before. Let's create a path for you. Let's make you unique. Let's validate where you're at in your life. That's why I love this work. That's why I'm going to keep doing this work. And, you know, if you're curious about what that looks like, how the coaching relationship is, what I charge, all these things, it's so easy. Literally, just send me an email, hello@karissadean.com. I'd love to support you, whether it's one call or, months of work together. It can just take that one simple step, which is I just am curious about how I could feel better. Like, you don't even know how you're in your own way. Let me help you. hello@karissadean.com. I hope you know how worthy you are. I hope you know that you do get to feel better, and it doesn't have to cost a lot. It doesn't have to take a ton of time and energy. Little small changes in our day-to-day life are fucking radical for the rest of our life. So if you're curious at all, if you're still here, shoot me an email, hello@karissadean.com, or you can send me a DM on Instagram. We got a lot of really, really cool conversations coming down the pipeline over the next few weeks. We did change the release date. The release date is now happening on Thursdays. So if you are wondering about why didn't a podcast come out on Tuesday, we are switching things. Podcasts are now being released on Thursdays. I have so many epic interviews coming up. I have an interview where we're going to talk all about manifestation, which if you're in my email, I believe that email went out this Sunday. I wrote a blog post in August all about, it's still August, I think, when you're listening to this. But there's a blog post out about manifestation. An email went out about manifestation. Mia Gray and myself are talking about manifestation. I believe that episode's coming out next. We have another, me and you conversation. And then I have two epic women. One is an attorney who is going to talk to us all about protecting our business. And the other is the inventor of Lobo footwear, which is absolutely game changer for those of us who love the stiletto, but want something more versatile and comfortable. If you haven't found them yet, go on Instagram, Lobo Footwear. She's in Australia. Sherelle and I, we have an epic conversation. So there's really cool things coming on the podcast. So you do want to make sure you're subscribing, and I'll look forward to seeing you at that next conversation. I hope you have a beautiful day.